following is brought to you by Haney Farms, your canola, corn, and cereal seed experts. Find us at haneyfarms.com. We're joined right now on RealAgriculture.com by Mike Jubinville with Profarmer Canada. Welcome today, Mike.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
Mike, we're going to talk about feed barley. It's definitely worked its way higher through the fall. We're getting closer to $200. What do you see as kind of some of the issues as we get closer to $200?
Well, I do believe if we take this from a long-term perspective that barley and a number of other commodities are all trading, I think, different types of trading ranges than what we're traditionally used to. Historically speaking, cash Lethbridge barley has oscillated for the past 25 years in this on the bottom end in times of ultimate surplus, 115 or so a ton on the bottom side, 120, and then on the top side, closer to 200. Well, I think the effective trading ranges on a lot of commodities, on cereals, oil seeds, and such, have bounced up another notch. And I think that's kind of going to be a permanent structure that we look to in the future. And, right now we certainly are pushing to the upside. Domestically speaking, we're really not short of feed grains per se overall. Barley production was down this year, and StatCan identified that as 7.6 million tons in their report just a couple of weeks ago, their final production estimate, which I think surprised the trade and suggests that we are looking at a contraction phase when it comes to ending stock projections for barley this year. But net supplies of feed grains, when we look across the spectrum, whether it's feed wheat or oats or whatever creative feed rations that can materialize here, in the microcosm that is Alberta or even that of Western Canada, feed grain supplies are not exceedingly short.
Yeah, and I think that's the part, Mike, that really sort of a lot of livestock producers maybe misjudged or misread. They thought, we got a late harvest, there's going to be a lot of feed wheat, we're going to be flooded with feed grains. Maybe we're going to see this stuff stay closer to that 150, 160 mark. And as you alluded to, it just hasn't been the case.
No, and where the shortage really does exist is on the international market. And for the most part, our domestic users and our domestic producers of feed grains really haven't been aware of what the real market is trading at from an international point of view. And this has been a corn game for the most part that's establishing the net price. But, if you look at offshore prices, work back to southern Alberta, you're probably looking at a price equivalent that's easily over $4 a bushel. And the Wheat Board has been making movement to try to capture some of that opportunity, but through its pros have not given the farmer in Western Canada, I think, the transparent signal that is needed to suggest that the offshore market is actually the higher priced market to go to. And the domestic user is not aware of what offshore prices are trading at these days, so they're not inclined to necessarily be the ones to go making this market chase higher. But if the board would be offering a more transparent signal of where the international market is trading at these days, we would be looking at even higher barley prices. Now, feed barley prices have been edging higher, getting closer towards where the domestic market or where the international market is trading, but it's been very much a lagged effect.
So I get these phone calls, so sort of what you're alluding to in terms of the board and feed grains in the international market. I get these emails and these phone calls from farmers saying that, based on the way that the board works this feed grain export, they're keeping feed prices artificially low in Western Canada. What do you think about stuff like that?
Well, there's not an intentional policy of the board to try to keep feed grain prices low in Western Canada, but it's just the effect of the structure of the monopoly to trade feed barley internationally is just such that the board does not give the signals in a transparent fashion to the grower as to what the real world is trading at on any given day. So in some senses, by having the pro lower than where the trade is actually operating at in this environment, has as a consequence created an artificially low price environment here. Historically speaking, the best prices for feed barley are typically on the prairies for the prairie farmer and not in the offshore market. But this is one of those oddball years where the reverse is true.
So we're getting to the end of the fourth quarter here, the end of the year. Usually it seems the livestock producers kind of they buy their feed grains in quarter segments. I know several that they're basically out of their pre-bought feed at the end of this month. Also some that have some bought to the end of March. And a lot are kind of trying to figure out, okay, now what's my next move? Do I just buy on the cash market and see what happens and see it float lower, or do I buy up because it's going to go higher? What is kind of your short-term outlook on what we're going to see in something like feed barley?
I get the sense that we'll probably, in a lot of these markets, experience a bit of a lull as we start to, enter into the holiday period. Certainly from the futures point of view on various commodities, whether it's on corn or wheat or soybeans, canola or otherwise, you tend to get some liquidation pressures as you get into year end that I think may come into play. But going further afield, the tightness of stock situation that seems to be evolving on the corn side and on the oilseed side, as well as any potential threats that may exist in southern hemisphere production on corn or soybeans that may arise from La Nina drought-related issues in South America, and the acreage battle that I envision developing. And I don't want to sound too 2008 about it, but the battle between soybeans, corn, and wheat coming up this spring suggests there's plenty of room for fireworks ahead. So my sense of this right now is the net trend remains higher until further notice.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, I really appreciate your analysis and your commentary, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, sure thing. Sounds good.